Hi there guys, my name is Jacob and welcome back to the channel. Now I've got to be honest, I was actually setting this camera up to record a completely different video, but whilst I was doing a little bit of prep for that video, I actually just saw my subscriber count tick over from 1,999 subscribers up to 2,000 subscribers. And I don't know why, but because I knew this milestone was coming, but it just kind of took me off guard a little bit. And yeah, I just want to make a video and just say thank you really to every single person. If you are one of those 2,000 subscribers, thank you very much for pressing that button and, you know, subscribing to my channel and watching my videos. I don't know, it's crazy really when I think about it, that, you know, I created this channel just over 2 years ago, and so much has happened since I decided to create the channel. Not just on the channel, but obviously in my life as well, you know, behind the camera. And I guess that's why it's caught me off guard a little bit. I'm just kind of thinking back now as to like so much has gone on in that period of time. I guess keeping it on the subject of YouTube, I never really had any hopes for this channel when I started it. I didn't really know, you know, as everybody doesn't really, would anybody be interested in watching my videos? You know, would I be able to make videos that are of decent quality? Would I be able to talk on camera and be confident enough to do that? And, you know, in the early days, I really wasn't confident on camera and I really struggled, even just speaking, you know, almost fluently and making it a watchable video, if you like. But obviously over time I've got better at that, and considering I don't script any of my videos, I kind of just have a topic that I want to talk about and then I just go for it really. Occasionally with the solar videos I will have, you know, stats and numbers behind the camera so I can read off those so I don't forget basically. But generally speaking, you know, I don't have a script or anything, I just go for it, and that has been something that I guess I've learned over time and become a lot better at. But yeah, I'm just, you know, it's one of those things really. 2 years on YouTube and 2,000 subscribers. It seems to me like a really big milestone. And I know to some people, they'll think, God, you know, it's just 2,000 subscribers. It's not a lot. Most channels have tens of thousands or whatever. But to me personally, I really do think it's a big milestone. I've come a long way and I'm proud of kind of what I've been able to do on the channel. And, you know, I haven't monetized the channel very much at all. I mean, I do make ad revenue off the videos, but, you know, I don't get a massive amount of viewers. So I don't make a massive amount of money off it. And I've told you guys in videos, you know, prior to this, how much I make. And normally it's about £4 or £5 a video if I'm lucky. So it really isn't a lot. This, you know, YouTube really for me is a hobby at best, but I love it. And that's why I continue to do it. A lot of people have said to me, you know, why do I continue with YouTube when, you know, I don't make much money from it. So what is the point? But to me, there is a point. You know, I really enjoy it. It is a fun hobby. I really enjoy interacting with people in the comments. You know, I love seeing the same familiar you know, usernames pop up with, you know, on different videos with nice comments. And it really feels like, you know, a little bit of a community is being built, if you know what I mean. And I never thought that was possible when I started YouTube. So, you know, there's more to YouTube than just making money. Although, yeah, that's great. And I have made a little bit, a few £100. And that's something I thought, you know, maybe in the future I should work on, maybe trying to monetize the channel a little bit better. I mean, I do have links in the description boxes of all my videos, like referral links or buy me a coffee links, stuff like that. But to be honest, I don't really ever push them in my videos. I occasionally mention them, but I'm just not really that kind of person who, you know, wants to get it in there every video of like, you know, sign up to this link or, you know, do this, whatever. I just think they're there, and if people want to use them, they'll use them. And if they don't, then they don't. It is what it is. But for every person who has used one of my links over the past 2 years, I want to say a massive thank you to, because, you know, it isn't many people, but when someone does, it means the world, because that little bit of extra money that comes from that referral link, of course, you know, it keeps the fire burning in me, if you know what I mean. Like it's an incentive to carry on, and, you know, on days where I don't really feel like filming, and there are a lot of days like that. I mean, I go sometimes weeks without posting a YouTube video. And that's not really because, I want to take weeks without posting one. But, mixing YouTube with a full-time job and, just life in general, a lot of stuff gets in the way. And when, some days I wake up and I think I want to get a video out today, and life just gets in the way. And, working a full-time job can be stressful at times, and YouTube always just comes second to everything. But I do enjoy it, as I said, and it's a really fun hobby, and I want to continue with it. But sometimes you do need an incentive to kind of get on camera and get it done. And that can be, as I said, a little referral fee coming through. That can be a nice comment from somebody, or somebody subscribing to the channel. Anything like that can just ping up on my phone and, really, I don't know, just kind of tell me that that's why I'm doing it, and that's what keeps me going, is people enjoying the channel ultimately. And yeah, that's why I continue to do it. I just enjoy talking about topics that I enjoy. That's what I generally base this channel on, just stuff that I enjoy, whether that be finance, whether that be, solar, with the solar panels and everything that I've had done. It's all just topics that interest me, and I just hope that they find an audience that kind of it interests them too. But there's lots of videos I've made over the last couple of years that have never made it to the channel, for a variety of reasons. But, I filmed something that I think maybe it feels good at the time, or I don't know, something like a personal story or something. And then for whatever reason, once I've edited it, maybe I just decide not to post it or whatnot. And that does happen sometimes. Maybe it just doesn't feel like the right time to post it or whatnot. But yeah, not all the channel videos that I film make it to the channel, but most of them do. But yeah, I don't want to ramble too much. Really, I just want to say a massive thank you again, just to everybody who has subscribed to this channel, watched a video, liked a video, or commented on a video. Every one of those things makes a massive impact to the channel, and it means a lot to me personally, regardless of what it does for the channel. Just, to see people enjoying my videos makes it all worthwhile, and, I want to continue that going forward. And 2,000 subscribers is huge to me. And it's 2,000 more than I ever thought I'd get when I started this channel. But it also makes me think, what else can I achieve with this channel? Can I make it to 5,000 or 10,000? Those, goals are a long way off, but they are achievable. And it's something that I am going to continue to strive for, in the hope that it can happen. And I also want to just say that, if you, enjoy watching me and you've thought of starting a YouTube channel yourself, absolutely go for it. Because I watched YouTube for 3, 4, even 5 years before I started. And every time I watched a video, especially a video like the ones I make, where, it's kind of low budget and it's a real person making that video, talking to the camera. There's not lots of fancy editing and fancy locations and all that type of stuff. It's just a real person talking to the camera. That to me is what YouTube is. It's kind of old school YouTube. But, if you're somebody who enjoys these type of videos and thinks you'd like to have a stab at it yourself, absolutely go for it. Because I watched YouTube for years and never did anything about it. But I watched people and thought, I would love to do that. I'd love to have a go at that. Share my own thoughts on things, tell my own stories, give my own, bits of advice and whatnot. And I always talked myself out of it for any number of reasons, whether it's I haven't got the right equipment, I don't have the confidence, who's going to watch, whatever the excuse is, we've all had them. And I still have those excuses now some days that I talk myself out of making a video, because not every day do you think, I don't know, you just don't have the confidence. Some days you just think, who is going to watch this video? Who is going to be interested in that? And that's just, I guess, a little voice in your head talking you out of it, and you do have to overcome that. But that happens to the best of us. So whether you've got 1 subscriber or 2,000 or 10,000, I think that happens to most people who film videos of themselves. It's a daunting thing to put yourself out there online, and comments are a strange thing I have come to realise on YouTube. Most of the comments I would say I receive are really nice, kind comments, and they're engaging with me about the topic I'm talking about, and being really positive, and we have conversation, and it's really good. But then there's the flip side to the comments that can just be awful sometimes. And whether that be somebody, I don't know, picking on the way you look, the way you sound, telling you that you don't know what you're talking about, or just something completely random that they just want to get off their chest. Yeah, comments are a weird thing, and that is something you just kind of have to put up with YouTube. But it's great as the creator that I get to kind of filter out the bad comments, if you know what I mean. So anything that's kind of, I guess, hateful or, you know, negative, I would generally disregard and delete before they even get onto the channel, because I just don't want that type of environment on my channel, if you know what I mean. I didn't create this channel for people to be negative to one another or negative to me. I want it to be a positive space where people feel they can leave a comment, whether it be a vulnerable comment, you know, about something to do with themselves or whatnot, and feel confident that people are going to engage with that and, you know, be kind back. And that's the kind of thing I've always wanted to build on YouTube. And so, as I say, if you're one of those people that decides to leave a negative comment and wonders why it never shows up, that is why, because I just don't let that type of stuff get onto the channel. But to all the people who leave kind, positive comments, I just want you to know it never goes unnoticed. And that is something, as a small channel, I absolutely pride myself on, is replying to almost every comment I can. And sometimes, you know, life's busy and I don't always get to write a proper meaningful comment back, but I always try and acknowledge the comment at the very least. And by that, I mean, as a creator, you don't just get to like people's comments. You can actually leave kind of like a heart-shaped like on the comment. And it just basically shows you, the commenter, that I have looked at that comment, I have read that comment, and I've seen it and I've acknowledged you. And that is something that I have always loved from certain people I watch on YouTube. If I leave a comment, you know, even if they don't reply, it doesn't matter. You know, just that kind of heart popping up and telling you that they've seen it and they've read it, to me, it always meant a lot. And I hope it does with people who, you know, leave comments on my channel. It just shows that I always read them and, you know, I'll always acknowledge you. And to me, that's always gone a long way with when I leave comments for people. So, like I say, I hope it does for you too. Right then, guys, I'll leave it there because I don't want this to be too long. But yeah, again, a huge thank you for 2,000 subscribers and hopefully many more in the future. If you enjoyed this video, guys, remember, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and I will catch you in the next one.